What is up, and welcome to the first episode of White Lotus, an Avatar the Last Airbender podcast. We're going to be following the entire series, starting with one episode per one episode of a podcast, and we might even have some bonus episodes from the DVDs we've acquired over the years that we can look into and, find other information that we didn't know before about this great series.
And ever since it first came out, me and my sister, Shannon, I'm Hannah, we have loved the entire Avatar series and we were obsessed with it. But now, Netflix has just announced that they're making a live-action remake of it, so we're just going to go through the whole thing and just get into the
good stuff. We're going to be here with all the news, all the updates, in live time right before the new series airs. So we're going to have all that information right here.
Yeah, I really want to get this entire series done before they come out with the live action series. So we're going to need like a release date. So, and that's like our goal.
I don't even think they have a release date.
I don't even know if they're beginning filming. But anyway, so we just watched the first episode, which you can watch on Nickelodeon.com if you want to.
Which we had to, because even though we own the entire Avatar the Last Airbender series on DVD and all the episodes of Korra on DVD, for some reason the only disc we do not have is the first disc with the first 5 episodes. Of course. Just the worst timing. We didn't get into Avatar. We didn't watch it when we were younger, as a cartoon on TV. We were OG Netflixers. We had it when you get the discs in the mail. And I'm not sure if that's what watched on.
I remember.
But when Netflix first started streaming stuff on it, Avatar the Last Airbender was on there. And this is long ago, before nobody talked about Netflix ever. And that's how we saw it. And I think we watched it because we'd always watch stuff on weekends, and our dad hated everything we watched. He said they were all dumb. And
he still does think it's all dumb, but now he's right.
This is a series, though, that he was like, okay, I can watch this. So we all agreed on it. And that's how we started watching it. We were pretty old, though. It wasn't on TV anymore.
I still remember watching it on TV, though. I don't
know. Well, we couldn't have watched new episodes because it ended in 2008. Because the series ended in 2008.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
I know. I was 9 years old.
Oh my god, it's 10 years. And they're coming out with a new one. Oh, that's so cool.
This is so awesome. This is so cool. We went to Mall of America, and there's the whole Nickelodeon theme park in there, and there was the Avatar the Last Airbender ride, and we were fangirling so much over it.
Don't use the term fangirling. We're not locals.
But it was we had the choice to either go to the Nickelodeon theme park or go to the Barbie Life in the Dreamhouse experience, and we chose Barbie Life in the Dreamhouse.
We're honestly OGs of everything.
That's a different thing. Barbie Life in the Dreamhouse is such a funny series. And
we're gonna do that next. We're gonna do it after this one.
But also it was Barbie Life in the Dreamhouse experience, where it's you're living the TV show, whereas this was just a roller coaster that was themed a little bit towards Avatar.
Yeah. But anyway, if you can watch the first episode, but we're just gonna recap on the episodes if you don't watch them. So, in the first episode, Katara and Sokka are kind of canoeing along.
They're just taking their good old fishing time.
And Sokka's trying to catch a fish, and Katara water bends one out of the water, which is so cool. And I remember watching the CinemaSins for the live-action movie, and all this water is falling out, and they're like, how is this still retaining the volume that it has?
There's so many, in things like this, and I feel the same with Star Wars and Harry Potter, because it's a different world, you just have to think about how these physics works.
No, but there was so much water falling out of it.
Oh, you were just saying that, there wasn't the same amount of water the water was falling.
Yeah. Anyway, so...
But same with this, when Sokka popped... First of all, it was a water bubble that she was bending, and Sokka, popped it with his stick. So, what does that mean for how you bend things? I think it was just, she was holding in her mind all the power she has to keep it together, and as soon as it was kind of disrupted, it just kind of all fell apart. But when it fell in its bubble of water. It was kind of confusing.
but they started out the episode with saying, long ago, the four...
Yeah, this theme song is different than all the other theme songs. I think they take this long theme song. Well, it's not a theme song. It's like a theme narration through like the first I don't know, like 5 episodes or something, but it was kind of long. I wouldn't even know it. I could tell you long ago, the 4 nations, whatever, but this was different. In fact, our little sister was watching with us. Her name is Carly. She's 9 years old. She knows way more than we do about this series. She'll definitely be on her later, but she was trying to mouth along or whatever, and she kept getting it wrong because it was different these first 2 episodes.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yes, back to what happened in the episode.
All right, so they say in the beginning that... Okay, it doesn't say in the beginning, but you find out later in the... Should I talk about this? Sure. The reborn stuff? Okay.
Yeah, no, talk about... I think we're going to be talking about this with the perspective that everyone's already watched the whole series. So we're going to be referencing stuff that happens later in the series, even if we're just on, like, the first episode. So, I'm going to be even referencing some stuff in Korra, which that
is another thing, because I hate Korra.
But it's in the same world. It's the same universe. And I think it's interesting to kind of... compare the two a little bit in ways I've watched Korra, but like not really. I don't know a lot about Korra.
Oh my god. You know how the police force like does stuff and they have like they're literally metal Spider-Mans. The police force with like the metal bending.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so the Avatar is reborn into the new elements and it goes air, water, earth, and fire, and then it cycles like that. So when the war started, they killed the previous Avatar and then wiped out all the airbenders because the previous Avatar was a firebender, so the next one would be airbender. But if they killed all of the benders, then wouldn't the Avatar just be born into the water tribe?
I know, that's something I guess because, and this is something we wanted to touch on also, is that if you are the Avatar and you're born, are you born the Avatar, or is it something that when the next Avatar dies they're like, oh, the Avatar spirit has been put into like some 10-year-old boy, you know?
Yeah, and
but I think it's you're born with it, because if you look at Korra, they like go searching around saying, if anyone has the Avatar, please tell us. And Korra's like 3 years old, and they're like, oh, we're sure we have the Avatar, and it's just like Korra like 3 years old bending all these different things at once, having fun in her house. So I think. I guess it does make sense if you want more time to kind of lag the Avatar, because they can't really do anything until Aang is 12, but still, you know, you're not going to have a 7-year-old
that
saving the world, fighting an entire army.
Yeah, that is true.
So I guess if they're like, well, we'll kill, even still, the Airbender would have been, like, Aang would have been a baby. So they had like 10 years or so before they knew he could do anything. Too bad Aang was so epic. He's saving the world at 12. He's 12 years old.
Okay, so anyway. So Sokka's fishing. Katara catches a fish. Sokka pops Katara's fish bubble. The fish somehow flies like 10 feet away.
Yeah.
For some reason.
It like created a rainbow of itself.
Yeah, and then Sokka's just like, oh, feminazi. and then Katara's like, excuse me? So, and then she like gets angry. No,
they breaks this huge iceberg with her maddening bending hands.
Which
bending is a weapon.
Which leads the conversation to is like bending subconscious, because she wasn't focusing on it.
Yeah, and like if you go through and you learn all this training and technique to like control the water, like Aang, he had such a hard time learning fire. He didn't even know how to conjure it. But it looked like if Katara, I guess she knows how to do it, so it kind of works itself on its own. Like if she doesn't even know she's doing anything, and she's just like moving her hands using this passion and anger in her voice.
Like, maybe if she was thinking about it, but, like, she didn't know she was gonna do it.
It was a little bit about that.
But yeah,
she brings
up sexism in the first episode. We love a feminist queen. we stand.
And so then she breaks the iceberg open, and that's when they see this glowing, the spiraling sphere of, what is that? And in the distance, then, we see, Uncle Iroh. We love Uncle Iroh
We
here.
stan a queen.
He is our queen. He is our
really
Paito queen. I wonder if he ever plays shogi. Anyway. And Zuko goes, the Avatar. I finally found him. Which is so, he's so confident that is the Avatar because of, quote, a source of extreme power. But it's been 100 years since an Avatar was even seen. I know, but he's so confident that, like, out of 100 years, like, the 2 months he's been out on the sea, he's the one to spot the Avatar.
No, but he didn't see the beam of light and think, wait, is the Avatar still alive? He believes that the Avatar is alive, and then he's like, where is that? Like, is that there?
What do you mean? I mean, is that from the Avatar?
Yeah. I don't think he just saw, he's going out and he's searching for the Avatar. Yeah.
So he believes, but he believed right away that was the Avatar. He was like, I know that was the Avatar because it was like enormous power.
Yeah.
Like, how selfish is it for him to think that he just, like, that's...
He's Zuko in the first season. Okay, you can't tell Zuko in the first season anything.
Yeah.
He's not a decent person until, like, I don't know. I think at the end of the first season, but we'll get into that.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to believe how short this series really is.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And also watching the first episode, this is not a series that I think I would have been into just from watching the first episode. Just simply, it's kind of done in like animes, the way people react and like kind of, I don't know about the sound effects. I don't watch a lot of anime. I'll have to consult my 9-year-old sister because she watches anime. She's like, you wouldn't understand.
She literally watches Goku in her spare time.
Yu-Gi-Oh! That's her favorite show, Yu-Gi-Oh!
It is.
And so I wasn't a big fan of that. And also, I was always a fan of more, like, funny shows. I think this was the first, like, kids show that I watched when I was younger that it was, like, serious. But I think that's what it made it good because it was also, like, a funny show. It wasn't slapstick or sitcom. It was just had, like, it's funny, humorous, lighthearted moments. Here's the thing. Here's what I think is so special about Avatar the Last Airbender. And I think it's the same reason why Star Wars and even Harry Potter are so good. And it's because the world that they created around it is so detailed and so unique.
Yeah.
And just, just so creative. And I think that's something that's so great with Avatar is that they've completely created a unique, so interesting world, and everything just made total sense.
Yeah, it really does.
I think it was canceled. I think Nickelodeon canceled the show,
which is whack.
And I think it gained popularity again from being on Netflix.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how many people had watched it until like this year or so, and people like, oh yeah, I love that show. And like, how were so many people watching it? Because I've never ever heard anyone watching it before, and I've never seen stuff in stores about this show. And I really think Netflix kind of revamped it when I put it on.
Okay, but there also is an entire roller coaster in the biggest mall in America.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. I don't think it gained popularity until after it had ended. And I think that happens with a lot of shows, especially now that Netflix is here, that when shows end, like, Netflix will put them on and then they suddenly gain popularity. That's what happened with what show was it? Oh, Arrested Development. Arrested Development is like a crazy good show. It's so funny. It's so different in the way they kind of place their humor. And it was canceled because, like, people just weren't watching it. And then it just blew up and became a huge cult TV show. And I think that's sort of what happened with this. I think it gained popularity.
It really is a cult TV show. But anyway, and then so a ball of ice comes up and it kind of blows up because Qatar is just like, oh my god, there's a person in there, we have to save him, which we stan a queen. And I don't know, it's just, I wrote down Katara is a god when I was watching that because I was just like, I love her so much. But then the whole thing explodes. Aang walks out, which is the Avatar. Aang is the Avatar for the fans that don't know. I say is like we have fans. Anyway, and he passes out. And then he, like, is slowly gaining consciousness after 100 years. He doesn't know where he is.
Yes.
Like, and the first thing he says to this girl is like,
Who's a stranger? Who's a stranger?
I know. Do you want to go penguin sledding with me? And that's the first thing that he says, which I don't understand. Like, shouldn't you be like, hello? Like, am I okay? Am I alive?
Exactly. So much about that's confusing. And then they take Katara and Sokka take him into town. Sokka hesitantly, because Sokka is doesn't want to trust anyone.
If Sokka wasn't sarcastic, I feel like everybody would hate
It's
him.
true. Sokka, I love Sokka, especially because of who he becomes in like the last 2 seasons.
He's like an annoying vegan, but like
except not a vegan at all. And so I like him because he's sarcastic and funny. He would have there's so many qualities about Sokka, especially in this first season, that are just so annoying. That you better watch yourself, Sokka.
Truly. But then I feel like he does get some good character at the end, which I'm so sad that he lost. Oh, I can't say that. That's like a spoiler alert.
No.
His space sword. in the very last episode of the entire series.
I'm gonna
dude,
cry
I cried.
just thinking about that. Oh.
I'm sob. Anyway.
They take him back to the town. There's literally 12 people living in this town. You know what I realized? So this is the Southern Air Temple. And if you look at the map, it kind of resembles a little bit how, our world kind of looks, which I think is interesting because that means that this whole entire world is interactive. You know, like, we don't think too much about other countries. We're kind of concerned about what's happening in our own country. I think maybe because in this world, it's a little bit smaller of a world. But, like, in this, they're so concerned about every other country all the time.
Yeah. Of course, it's because, like, the Fire Nation is invading everybody. They're like, hey, is anybody, like, still alive?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's, like, during, like, the World Wars, that's kind of what it was like, where everyone was concerned with everyone else's country. But if this is true, then that means they lived in, like, the Southern Water Tribe is kind of like where Antarctica is, which Antarctica is the only place or continent that's, like, not habitable. There's no, maybe it is habitable, but they just, you're not allowed to build anything on there. People aren't allowed to go except for, like, very expensive, like, excursions.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really interesting. I just think that's cool in the first place that, like, nobody can go to Antarctica. Like, that's a place where it's so huge and nobody can live. It's a whole continent.
Flat Earth conspiracy. Actually, in the flat Earth, so you lay it down and, like, the North Pole is in the middle, okay? Mm-hmm. And it goes out to the end, and then and Antarctica, and then that's why, because you would fall off. If you go to Antarctica, you'd fall off the Earth because the Earth is flat. You know what? I'm gonna create a flat Earth podcast. That's my next goal.
So then they go to the town.
It has 12 people, okay? So it says about 100 years, and all the men, they went off to help the Earth Kingdom fight off the Fire Nation. But there still would be, like, 30 people max for, like, 100 years. I'm just thinking, how did they survive without incest?
That's probably why they have so many few people. I mean, there's a Sufjan Stevens song.
Of course, when, like, I think about 10 years earlier, the Fire Nation came and killed all the waterbenders. Maybe that's why it's so small. Because that's where Katara's mother died.
Yeah, but I don't think there are still too many more. I mean, obviously the Southern Water Tribe is inferior to
it's very
Water
small.
Tribe. They, like, live in tents and huts, and, like, the Northern Water Tribe is beautiful, lush ice
literally
castles.
Glass City.
Literally Frozen. Disney's Frozen.
Genuinely.
But it reminds me of that Sufjan Stevens song.
Stop talking about Sufjan Stevens.
Of the Windows of Paradise, I think it's called. It's a long title, so I never really get the time to read it. But it's about, like, a town where all the men go off to war and all the young children go off to war. So it's just a town of just women, and they're kind of grateful for it. Just a little bit. But
we stand that song.
Also,
anyway.
It seemed like Sokka was the oldest guy there, which it makes sense. I think if you're, like, 13 years old, you're going off to war, which begs the question, why is Sokka still there?
I mean, I think the
Maybe he was like
chief-
12 when like
No, but they're like 14.
I know no, but I mean,
when
like,
the
it
series
12,
first starts,
12 when they left to go to war. So like he wasn't quite old
well,
enough.
yeah,
Because he's the oldest guy there.
Yeah, he is.
He was teaching like a bunch of young.
Dude, I have to go to the
Children.
bathroom. Can you like rant for a few minutes? I
Oh
have to go
my
to the bathroom.
gosh!
I'll be back really quick.
All right, I'm gonna summarize the rest of this episode. All right, so then after they get to the town, and they're all like, "Ooh, who is she?" For some reason, who is she? It's Egg. It's a guy that we know of so far. I mean, he has very, very pretty eyes. He takes off, at one point he takes off his shirt and like Katara walks in on him and she's like, oh, the arrows. He must be an airbender or something. Which, how did she not see the arrows on his forehead in the first place? I'm sorry. But they're right there. Also, in their town, they must not know what airbenders look like because there's no mass media. There's no TVs, no newspapers. How are they getting any information? By hawk? I mean, how many hawks come in with the Daily Times? Telling what's happening, giving pictures of like, in case you didn't know, here's what an airbender looks like because it really hasn't been around for the last 100 years. Also, if you look flashbacks of Aang's past, they only showed one. It didn't really show much information. But the 100-year span between when Aang went into his kind of depressive state, locked in his room, aka locked in the bubble of ice under the sea, then it wasn't much difference. It was kind of like the same. If you look at the difference between right now, which is 2018, and 1918, it's worlds different. It's so different. And you kind of get that with Korra, because Korra it's Aang's son is kind of like an oldish man, middle-aged. So it's not too far ahead. It's like maybe 50 so years, maybe a little more than 50 years. But it's so different. It's a completely industrialized and revolutionized. There's like a central city. There's no like segregated nations. It's just kind of like everyone living together. It's just such a different society. And honestly, I think that's kind of why Korra didn't have as much of a fan base, is because it just seemed like a different world. I think people really liked the way it was kind of in olden times. And then I think Korra was just a little bit too modern. I mean, that's my own personal opinion. I think my little sister Carly likes Korra better, which doesn't make any sense because, you know, it's like all about government and stuff. Okay, anyway, back to what happened. So then, I don't even know where I was. So then they go, they find a penguin, and Aang's being all silly. I got off track. I don't even know what I talked about.
Oh my god.
So Aang finds a penguin. He's like, let's go penguin sliding. And then they commit animal abuse.
They really do.
They ride these penguins until they get to what they call a Fire Navy ship, which they never use the word Navy, I don't think, ever else in the series, except for in this episode, or maybe the first few episodes. I don't remember them ever saying Navy. Ever. I think that's something that...
No, I think they do.
Maybe a little bit, but they said it twice. Every time they said fire, they said Fire Navy in this episode. And that just caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Because I know the one genre I hate is like war movies and war stuff. And I think this was kind of like a war. And I think it made it seem more like a war when they said Navy or Army. But then when they started using Fire Nation, I was like, aha, it's not a war. It's just a place.
It's not genocide. It's just a good time. I'm kidding with that, by the way.
They really sought out. Okay, so I was trying to. We were giving each other trivia the other day, and we were making up these questions. And I said, "What's the largest nation?" And obviously, that's the Earth Nation. But then I was like, what's the smallest? Because I was like, oh, Fire Nation is really small. They just have like one tiny small land. They're like, wait a second though. There are no airbenders anymore. And also, the water doesn't seem like there's a lot of waterbenders either.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
It seems like it's just like a big city for the Northern Water tribe.
Yeah. But there's also other waterbenders and like, I guess along the coast of where...
Oh, that's true because those swamp people were living in the Earth Kingdom.
Yeah.
And they were waterbenders.
Which is cool. And then there was that one lady living in the Fire Nation?
Okay, we can't count one lady. But it's true. There were refugees, people who were taken as prisoners who I'm sure somehow... Well, I don't think they ever let people out. So if people escaped, could be living in different nations. So anyway, they find this ship. They're like, ooh, Aang finds out that he's been asleep for 100 years. He's a little stunned by that. He thought he was in there for a few days.
But then he's just like, oh well, and like continues on with his day.
Yeah, and then continues to say booby twice. Because they fall into some booby traps. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And they kind of get stuck. They get stuck in this old wrecked Fire Navy ship. And Zuko's like, aha, I see it is the Avatar. And that's where he's hiding. And Aang, who should feel bad, literally leads Zuko and his team of Navy ships to this small town of literally 10 people. They could have easily had one ship, and that could have done it. Also, okay, so when Zuko left, he was kind of banished by his dad. He
was 13.
He was 13, yeah, and you think his dad was like, cut him off from like stuff. Like,
yeah.
Hey, you're not a part of this anymore. We're gonna cut you off.
No, he was banished from the Fire Nation, but I feel
But like how does he have all these ships and like literal generals willing to side him? That's something that happens in the next episode. We haven't even watched that yet.
Well, he is a prince. People still refer to him as Prince Zuko.
I guess people are so loyal. I wonder
but
how...
But I also feel like the Fire Lord funds him.
But like he cut him off. He was like, I don't want to be associated with you.
But he's still giving him the resources to prove his honor.
I wonder how public this fight was. Trivia question. What's a fight? What's the fight between...
Agni Kai.
Yeah, I don't know.
Agni Kai.
Is that between siblings? Or no, is it between family members? Or is
no,
it just any duel?
It's just between... It ends in when someone surrenders or someone dies, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
But then... Actually, I think it only ends when someone dies, but I remember... farther into the series, Zuko challenges someone to an Agni Kai. I think it was one of the generals. And
Zhao,
Zuko... I think it was Zhao. And I think Zhao had Zuko, like he was about to like finish him, but then Uncle Iroh, Queen Iroh, was like, hey, stop.
Hold up.
And then they were walking off, and then Zuko got Zhao into like he was about to kill him, but then Zuko's just like, no, I'm not gonna do that.
I'm a good person sometimes. I wonder how public this fight was. Like, was it like as public as the fight between like Jake Paul and whoever that other guy is? Or is it?
No, it was literally that public. Because I remember Zuko questioned the Fire Lord on like invading and like committing genocide, and he was just like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be killing all these people. And he was just like, oh, really? Bet. So, so he the Fire Lord challenges Zuko, his son, to an Agni Kai where he gets this giant sexy scar on his face.
I wouldn't call it sexy. Zuko is
Your scar is on the wrong side of the face.
Zuko is good looking, but only like when he lets his hair down.
Oh
in, like,
my
the
god,
last
he's
few
literally
seasons.
so ugly with his hair up because it's all bald, literally JoJo Siwa looking. All of his hair is in one ponytail, and it's like, you know that one photo of like the woman, and it was like, this guy was like interviewing her, and he was just like, do you know Justin Bieber? And she said no. And it's just like, what is her ponytail holding on to? And it's like Faith, because literally there's no hair. It's just the ponytail in the back of her head. That's literally what Zuko looks like.
But Sokka has like the same hairstyle, and I don't think Sokka is that ugly.
Sokka has the sick fade on the sides.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sokka's a fade, so that's why he's much cooler.
Mm-hmm. I joke about Sokka's haircut, but I literally had the same exact haircut for like a year.
You never had like any type of fade or like
I didn't have a
on one
fade.
side.
Yeah, I did have short sides, and I had it like long on top, and I pulled it back, and I was the sexiest guy in school.
Oh my god, okay, so the rest of the episode, they get booby-trapped, Zuko's like, let's send people over, and, okay, here's the part I want to touch on, because they do escape from that Fire Navy ship. Aang, like, lifts up Katara and jumps down.
He's literally 12, okay. And
this is what I can't stand about superhero movies. In superhero movies, they'll have a superhero, let's say their power is flying, and then they'll have them carrying someone while flying. And it's like, just because you can fly doesn't mean you have the strength to carry someone through the sky.
But if you fly, then is it taking, like, effort?
Are you saying that can you transfer your flying to, like, the other person?
No. Is that...
Or is it like, let's pretend that when you're flying, it's like you're resting your hands on a table, and you're just kind of like, because your hands can fly. So, are you just resting that person on your hands on the table?
No.
As like a metaphor?
No, you can carry a person. Like, if I could pick you up and I could walk.
If you could.
I literally can. I literally can pick you up right now. Anyway, so if I picked up my little sister, if I picked up my cat, I could walk. So why can't someone that can fly pick up a cat and fly?
Because that would mean they have superhuman strength. But that's not their power. Their power is to fly.
Sometimes you're just strong enough to hold somebody. You don't have to have super strength to, like, carry a person.
Yeah, but they're like, let me just carry all this stuff because I can fly. It's like, no, you need to train to become
In
stronger.
what movie?
In every superhero
In what
movie?
movie? Give me an instance. Give me context.
Okay, I was gonna say Superman, but that's not a good example because like he's
You've
very
never
strong.
seen Superman.
I know, but he's very strong. But I just know in these. Okay. Elastigirl. All right, she's elastic, right? But in the Incredibles, she holds onto an RV on a moving plane. No human could do that.
But no, it's just
She's
the grip.
just-
She has a strong grip. She could have elongated her fingers and tied them up so she doesn't even have to, like, focus on the muscles.
I guess, but still.
Literally, okay, I'm gonna bring up some bondage with Elastigirl would be so eco-friendly because you don't have to use anything. You can just elongate her arms and tie her up.
She can also get through like a ropes course very easily.
Yeah, she can just elongate herself.
She can. There's a scary bridge. She can just walk one step right over.
Oh my god, if she can
If she wants to avoid someone, she can just curve her body over the person.
No, but she can also get super skinny, so she can, like, stretch out really tall and just become, like, a two-dimensional being and just turn sideways.
She can put on a live action version of Flat Stanley. There's so many uses for being Elastigirl.
So back to that one time that Flat Stanley, like, became flat, and his dad was just like, you know what, I'm literally gonna, like, put a belt around him and carry him with a belt. Like a yoga mat.
They're like, you don't need to pay for your plane ticket.
They literally shipped
We'll just express mail you to our destination.
And he
Express
had
mail
a
you to Hawaii.
I remember he had like a little bag of sandwich, and it wasn't even a box. He couldn't even stretch out. It was literally in like an envelope.
His sandwich. So he needs
and his toothbrush in the plastic bag. I remember that.
If he eats flat stuff, he needs to eat flat stuff, or else like it'll make him like. His parents are very concerned about him becoming fat. So they made to make sure he's rail thin.
Oh god, I wish I was that skinny.
He's wide though. He's Kylo Ren wide.
Oh my god.
What's this podcast about? Avatar.
No, but in Sky High, okay.
Okay, that's a good example.
Yeah, because
he
the
lifts
mom
her
can
up.
fly.
Yeah.
The mom can fly,
That's what
and
I'm
the
thinking of.
dad is super strength.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so she carries him through the air when she flies. That's gotta feel like running. I mean, I'm assuming if you have superpowers like that, like flying, you have to be able to use some of your strength.
I think it's
Like
just
to
mind
fly.
strength.
Oh. So gross. That was my
I got really excited there. I'm sorry about that.
Your insides were bubbling in anticipation.
Anyway, so like if it's mind strength, because you don't move any part of your body when you're like flying, and like with Aang, he can control the air currents around him.
Yeah, but like
I'm slightly bringing
muscles, sort of, a little bit.
No, because he's not using his muscles.
Okay, but when Earthbenders are lifting up a heavy rock, they act like they're like lifting up a heavy rock when it's like heavier.
Okay.
So I'm saying you have to use some kind of physical strength to like bend these things.
That is true. But like I feel like it's easier because like up her what is it? The boulder, he lifted up the hippo.
And he was much heavier than any rock.
Yeah,
he eats 5 Big Macs a day.
I feel like the hippo. The only way you can like move me off something is by lifting me up on a huge rock.
Girl, you're not the hippo, you're the stegosaurus.
Hey! You see that Brachiosaurus, that big neck go to heaven? And that's just an expression. They ain't no heaven. We should do a little Dicky podcast. Just 5 podcasts going
about,
deep
it's
into
about pillow talk.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm saying is that you can do a lot more, okay? Because like you're a lot stronger when you're bending like air and elements. So if you're flying, then
I'm saying, what's the difference between him on the ground lifting Katara up and running, and him lifting her up and airbending? I mean, I guess there's some alleviation, but
no, because he only had her in her arms, and then he used air to like pop himself up. He like didn't fly.
he still had to hold her. What about when he landed? You think all that landing is gonna like push her down in his arms?
Oh my god!
And
she's literally 14. She's not that fat.
He has twig arms though. He is 12 and is skinny and scrawny.
But
He's
swole.
He's not swole.
His head is swole. He got a lot of mind powers. I know that.
Why is his head
big ass 6 head?
So sweet. So spherical. It's like a perfect circle.
Yeah.
And we know from art class that you draw human heads with ovals. But his is perfectly round.
Yeah, because actually
it's like a basketball ball.
What was I gonna say?
Basketball ball. Shannon, you say basketball.
Stop. Get some help.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Hold on. ASMR. My ASMR video that I never uploaded. I coughed.
Jesus, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to my future self for having to listen through this again.
I'm not sorry for your future self. Anyway, so Aang has these big arrows on his head. And in Korra, what is it? I know Ganachi? Gucci?
I don't remember their name.
Janora.
Oh my god.
She gets the arrows tattooed on her because she becomes like an airbender master. So, but like is there only things for like air people? Like what's the master rank of, like, what tattoo do you get if you are a waterbender?
Don't you get like some kind of symbol, right?
I don't think so.
Maybe I don't know right now. I'm pretty sure there's an answer somewhere. But we don't know anything. You know what's interesting about this series? It's rated Y7.
Which is cray.
which means its
Hold on,
audience is like 7-year-olds.
Not cray. Whack. Sorry.
Yeah, that cray is so 2012.
This is whack.
This is 2017 now. I mean, it's not, but
2018.
Whack is pretty 2017.
No, it's 2018.
Oh, whatever. Anyway.
Whack.
So we were watching this. We had to watch it on, like I said, Nick.com, because even though we own all the DVDs, somehow the first disc is missing. So, like cavemen, we couldn't watch our DVDs and had to be like normal people of society and find a site that we could illegally stream it from, which we won't feel guilty about because we have the DVDs. We just can't find it. So it's not really
we are
illegally
supporting
streaming.
our artists.
Anyway, we found the first episode for free on Nick.com, and it had commercials in between it. And these commercials were totally geared towards, like, 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because I think the TV series, everyone who likes it is, like, older. It's
well,
one that
that's
transcended
because
the
it's
age.
an old TV show.
I don't think so. I think it's
Carly
because
only likes it because we literally force her into so many things. She doesn't have a choice.
I think she likes it on her own. I mean, that's true. We kind of all really liked it and watched it just because it was constantly playing on our TV. So our parents kind of like turn off our internet and don't let us have access to it. So sometimes all we have to do is just watch DVDs. So
but then our TV exploded, so literally we can't do anything about it.
In the past 5 years, we've watched this series probably around 17 times. It's just constantly. Constantly pop in. But the thing is, we put in random discs, and so we watch sometimes the same episodes over and over again. We've watched the episodes with Toph, where they find Toph and like they're like convincing her to come along with them so many times. But like the disc before it, I have seen only a handful of times, and I don't remember too much from it, which is so crazy.
Wait, does a handful mean 5 because you have 5 fingers?
It means between 1 and 5. But yes.
Okay, cool. I just thought about that.
But yeah, I think this is a series, and I think the content, it's definitely something that adults can enjoy.
But if you have a handful of M&Ms... Sorry, go on.
A handful of M&Ms is more than 5. A handful of atoms is more than 1,000,000, probably.
Actually, the thing for atom, if you have a pure substance, is the... Hold on. Okay, so if
we're not gonna sit here watch you rack your brain.
No. Okay,
so if you made up
so there are 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd atoms in 1 mole of the substance, and the mole is the atomic mass in grams. Fun fact. Anyway, go on. Chemistry.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think this series
Don't say yeah like you know what I'm talking about, you college dropout.
I'm saying yeah like I didn't follow and I wasn't trying to follow.
Can't follow your dreams either. That's why you dropped out of college. I'm going to bring this up many times throughout the series.
I didn't drop out.
You literally
of
dropped out of college. You are
Just
not in college
for-
right now, and
for
this
a
is college
single
season.
semester.
You are not going back to
took
college.
a break. Have you ever seen Friends?
From what?
Have you ever seen Friends? Just answer me this. Have you ever seen Friends?
No, because I don't like that series.
Well, there's this big thing.
Yeah, Ross,
was
we were on a break. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, exactly. And do you think they were on a break, or do you think they weren't on a break?
I don't know. I've never watched this series. I only know he says we were on a break.
Well, I'm going to say they weren't on a break because that helps my case. I mean, no, I'm going to say they were on a break. They were on a break.
Okay, but then the joke is that they... Wait.
So, if they're on a break, then I'm on a break. That means they were going to get back together. That's what a break means. So, my break from college is I divorced it for a little bit. And now, just like the series with the girl from The Office... Pam. Jenna Fisher, I think her name is. We're getting back together. Me in school. Thanks for having your phone on. You didn't even do it right.
No, because if you do this, that's not the modern way. This is the gay way. Just ask any gay person, and they'll do.
So you're saying, like,
if you
everyone else does it like this?
No, it's just that the gays invented it the new type of way. Actually, someone from the RuPaul's Drag Race invented it. And now all the gays are culturally appropriating it. But if you want to come out to your parents, just go. I say as I'm ing constantly. Sadly heterosexual.
Tragically. Tragic. Like, I love that line from Parks and Recreation. They're like, oh, it's like Leslie and Anne. They're like, oh, were you two a couple? They're like, no, we're tragically heterosexual.
I literally say that all the time. But anyway, I think we've exercised all of our thoughts for this episode. So that was White Lotus and the Avatar Last Airbender series commentary by two imbeciles who don't know what they're doing, but who have good thoughts.
We're gonna know more. We're gonna
unlock all the secrets.
Yeah, we're gonna watch these on the DVDs that we have. We have like an extras DVD that has who knows what on it. We've never watched it before.
We're gonna email the producers and cry to them until they
we're gonna
acknowledge us.
We're gonna email every single animator. And I want to talk to the sound people because the music on it is so good. And I think what's cool is that the writers are mostly American, at least what I can tell from their last names. But
aren't they Asian American?
No, I don't think so. But if you look at the animators, like the art people, they're almost all. It's like primarily Asian. I mean, I don't know what country, but it's like. They definitely have the Asian influence, which is good because I think that's what the series was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like very Asian influenced. It's like a cheating anime.
Yeah.
Like people was like, "What's your favorite anime?" And I'm like, "Avatar: The Last Airbender." They're like, "GTFO." No one said that to my face, but I can tell.
I'm gonna have to call the police on you for that. I'm gonna edit that out. Anyway, so yeah, that's the end. We're gonna come back next week with another episode that we probably illegally downloaded from the internet, but we do it in the name of Aang instead of the yeah. In the name of Aang.
If he were here, he would not condone this. He'd be like, "There's gotta be some other way."
That is completely true.
How about we go ask our friends and see who has the DVD?
That's literally completely true. But we're not gonna listen to Mr. Aang because he's dead.
Maybe someone has a Netflix password we can use because our parents locked us out of our own Netflix.
Yeah. Oh God, it's tragic. I think we should end this now. All right. Bye. My name is Jeff. No. David Dobrik.
Before we end this, I just want to give one last thank you to the creators of Avatar, Michael Dante Diamartino and Brian Konietzko. Hopefully I didn't pronounce that terribly wrong. They did a great job creating this. They directed lots of episodes. They produced almost the whole thing. They were just really the whole minds behind this whole series, and Korra. And a little bit of the M. Night Shyamalan movie. And they're behind the new series. So just want to give them a shout out. And we're definitely be talking about them more in coming episodes because they're really cool. And I want to delve more into what their past is because I've been looking through stuff and you will not believe what I found. Just kidding. It's not that dramatic. But
we should do trivia at the end. Or like a fun fact.
But thank you for listening. This was White Lotus. I'm Shannon.
And I'm Hannah.
And don't let the Fire Nation attack. Bye.